As of Sunday, there were no tags applied. Ultimately, 8. Too short of last year, but more than I thought we were going to see. And we've talked about Devontae Adams and his tag that will keep him in Green Bay, either on a one-year deal or a multi-year deal. I doubt the tag and trade option is on the table now that Aaron Rodgers is sticking around. Chris, the one that really stands out to me is Chris Godwin. We've talked about this previously. Coming off the torn ACL, second tag. He's 1 year away from unrestricted free agency because next year he would be entitled to the average of the 5 highest paid players in the NFL or something like that. It's a formula along those lines. It's quarterback money, basically. I think it's the average of the 5 highest paid quarterbacks from 2022. So they're not going to tag him next year. And if I'm him, I'm not setting foot on the field until I am 100%. I'm not fighting through scar tissue. I'm not taking any risks. I am not going to jeopardize re-injuring this ACL when I know next year I'm going to be a free agent.
I hear you there, and I would think that the Bucs are going to look to sign him long-term here between now and July 15th. And again, I think there's a guy that's loved within the organization. He's homegrown. They picked him in the second round out of Penn State. I would think they want to do that, but they didn't. I think he's talented enough. Even with that injury, they knew if he was a free agent that somebody might offer him a 1 year, $18-19 million deal to see, like, hey, let's see what it is, or a 2 year deal or something. So I think there was real danger in losing him. And again, with no Antonio Brown, Gronk a free agent, this is a damn good. This is a number 1 wide receiver that they have in their team as a number 2 wide receiver, and they didn't want to lose that. And of course, the dangerous capabilities he has on the offensive side of the ball. This is still a Super Bowl team.
2 months removed from having that ACL and MCL surgically repaired, just a real risk, a calculated risk for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it's going to become difficult to value the long-term deal. Usually when you tag a guy the first time, the loose approach is you take the base tag, you give him the 20% raise for the following year, which is how it works for the second tag. That total amount is fully guaranteed at signing, and then they have year 3, year 4, year 5, you work it out that way. That's usually how you take a franchise tag player year 1 and turn it into a long-term deal. That's been done over and over again. Year 2 of the franchise tag, what do you do? Because there's no formula for next year that's going to apply. Next year's quarterback money, you're not going to take 19.2 this year and 35 million next year and add them together and fully guarantee that. So it becomes harder to do a long-term deal when you know that next year you're most likely not going to be tagged and you're going to hit the open market. So that's the challenge there. 3 tight ends were tagged. Dalton Schultz, Mike Gesicki, David Njoku, all at $10.9 million. Chris, somebody suggested yesterday we may see a grievance because some of these guys line up as receivers. Look, talk to Jimmy Graham about how that's going to go.
Yeah, good luck.
They're most likely going to stick as tight ends. And, I think each team had different reasons for doing what they did. But you look at the number. The number's not ridiculous.
It's nothing.
With a $208 million cap, that's a nice number to keep a good tight end around.
Exactly right. I think all 3 of those teams went, well, we got to keep the guy. First off, this guy, the tight end's important to those 3 football teams. And they went, it's a drop in the bucket. They're going to get $10.9 million a year from some team. They are. Right now at the tight end position, Mike, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, the only 3 guys that are making, like, big money are Kittle, Kelsey, and Mark Andrews, right? I mean, I believe that's it, really. The tight end market, this is a steal. It's ridiculous. In fact, it's like, how did it get this low? And I blame Gronk, back to a prior conversation you were talking about with Mike Williams and all that. Gronk, he never put the poker to the Patriots or anybody and drove the market up, so he's killed some of these tight ends in the franchise tag and what they're getting here. So, but either way, Gesicki is a rising star. We talked a little yesterday. And it's Mike McDaniel, who came from the 49ers with George Kittle. I mean, so they want to keep Gesicki for sure. And Njoku, big, talented, can block and do it all. We know they want 2 tight ends and play that style of football. And then Dalton Schultz has continued to get better and better for Dallas. And, yeah, I get them franchising all 3 of those guys.
The Cam Robinson decision to tag him a second time. Last year they tagged him. I was told that they weren't quite sure what they had with the new regime, so they just tagged him.
Right.
Now this year, is this a sign that they're going pass rusher with the number 1 overall pick in the draft?
Maybe. This is an interesting one. I don't necessarily look at it as, it's a slam dunk that they're going to go pass rusher number 1. They could just go, wait, we got Trevor Lawrence. We drafted Travis Etienne. Doug Peterson can go, wait, you know what won me a Super Bowl was the fact that we had the most dominant offensive line in football in Philadelphia. And they're still good there in Philadelphia. Now, they could very well be taking that route. And Cam Robinson, even though it hasn't lived up to maybe the billing, still 6'6", 320, 35.5-inch arms. There ain't a lot of people on earth walking around like Cam Robinson who could move their feet the way he does. He still has big-time pass-protecting potential. He is a good pass protector, Mike. So that's where I think they probably looked at it and went, okay, we're unsure, but 16.7 for a guy with that type of potential, we can deal with that.
And if you're Cam Robinson, you sign that tag right away, because if they would decide to go with a tackle with the first overall pick, maybe they rescind the tender. You don't see that happen very often. Remember, it happened to Josh Norman 6-7 years ago. It happened a couple of times in the prior decade. The Eagles did it once. The Colts did it once. I think Corey Simon. No, it wasn't the Colts. The Eagles did it twice. They did it to Jeremiah Trotter and Corey Simon.
I forgot
Andy
about the
Reid
Trotter.
Done it twice.
Yeah, right.
Simon landed with the Colts. Trotter landed with Washington, and Washington signed Josh Norman after the Panthers rescinded the tag. It doesn't happen very often, but I think for Robinson, go ahead and sign it. Go ahead and sign it, and then you got until July 15 to do the long-term deal. And next year, same reasoning as Godwin. You're a free agent. They can't force you to stay.
Yeah.
You're going to be on the open market because they're not going to give you quarterback money. All right, Harold Landry did not get tagged by the Titans. Titans didn't need to use it. They worked out a long-term deal, 5 years, $87.5 million, $52.5 guaranteed. They got Harold Landry. They got Bud Dupree. Good to have a couple of edge rushers in the AFC. If you want to finally get to the Super Bowl, you better be able to get to some of these quarterbacks in the AFC.
Ooh, man. I mean, that Titans, Harold Landry, hello, superstar, going to get paid like it. Good for him. Bud Dupree wasn't even 100% last year. Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle, has entered the conversation of Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, best defensive tackles in football type of guy. I mean, yes, you're right. They're a team that's going, wait, all these damn quarterbacks, okay, so what? We're going to build a team and harass these damn guys, and they're not going to run around and make magic happen against us. But that was a big-time move. I mean, the fact that they didn't have to tag Landry, they get it to be a manageable number and get to continue to build their football team there in Tennessee, watch out.
And then lastly, yes, the Patriots, as expected, did not tag J.C. Jackson. He becomes a free agent. Next Wednesday, the official window for talking to other teams opens on Monday at noon. I have a feeling he's going to be one of those guys that, by the time we are wiping the crumbs off of our desk after lunch, we're going to find out he's signing for 5 years, $201 million somewhere else.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I would think that there's going to be a big-time market for him. You look at some of the teams that have a lot of money to spend in free agency or the salary cap room. A lot of them have need at the corner position, right? That's probably the reason. I don't know. I don't know what New England's thinking is. That's, I guess, is where I'm going with it. I'm a little surprised that they didn't, tag him and keep him. But at the same time, they do have a lot of DBs there in New England. Maybe they're going to start to play a little bit different style of football. They played a little more zone last year than normal. It wasn't man-to-man like it's been every play. But for me, as I've discussed said many times here the last few days, J.C. Jackson is certainly in the conversation for 5 best corners in football.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.